Caitlin, and welcome to the Lit Review. Today, we're going in. We're doing June Litland to see how close we can get to this book haul, because your girl really wants to buy books, but she's trying to stay strong. So we shall see if we can get all the way there, although that's kind of questionable, because if you remember from the end of May, we got sent like all the way back down here. It was very upsetting. So hopefully Litland is a little bit kinder. I will, if you are new to this channel and new to my Litland game, I've only been doing it for a couple of months, but I will make sure to link the first one, which I did up in April, in the cards so that you can check out the board and all the rules. But for a super quick rundown, I pull 5 cards a month, and some of them have doubles, some of them have challenges, some of them lead me to weird places. But that is how I dictate my TBR. I also have a system where if I don't finish a book in a given month, I have 2 options. I can either roll it over into next month and add it to my next month's queue. I can also just DNF it and take a punishment, which would be an extra pull. So for status updates on May's Litland, I have some work to do, frankly. It is, when I'm filming this, it is like May 24th. So I still have about like a week and some change before the end of the month. So I have finished, I had 5 books on my Litland for May. I have finished, well actually Crown of Wishes wasn't even on my Litland, that was for my Asian Readathon. So of the 5, I finished 2. I am halfway through Marie Kondo's Spark Joy, which is in the other room. And then I am halfway through Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce. And then I am confident that I can finish those things. And if not, I am going to let them roll over. I'm not going to take a punishment this month because, as y'all have heard me say many times, May was a difficult month. I started a new job, which is awesome. I love my new job. But it did cut down on my reading that I was doing in March, where I had no job. But what's most important is that I'm not going to take a punishment, so it's just going to be the regular old 5 pulls. So let's get into it and let's see what June Litland brings us. Here are last month's pulls, including our disastrous send back to start, or close to start. And they will go here, where all of our old picks go. This is a completely unshuffled deck. Actually, let me straighten that. That looks a little haphazard. And then challenge cards and stuck cards. Challenge cards go with these fancy little pink squares, and the stuck cards go with the dots. So we put Wilbur on blue, 1 blue after miscellaneous. This is where we were at the end of May. So I'm gonna pull 5 cards and see where that gets us. Okay, 1 card, 1, 1, 1. Oh, okay, double green. 1, 2. Face you forward, friend. The first pull that we got for Litland was 2 greens, and green is historical fiction in Litland. So I have 2 historical fiction picks that I now need to make. If you've been here for a while, you know I like to try to pull from my priority shelf when possible, or this shelf back here, though this is not my main book room. I have a bunch of bookcases throughout the rest of this apartment, but I'm gonna try to see what's around here first. Like, oh, okay, this is perfect. So my first historical fiction pick, I am going to go with The Library of Legends by Janie Chang. This was one of my Book of the Month picks for April. I had to think that one through. One of my Book of the Month picks for April. It is set in China in 1937. Our main character has to flee China, and then she is put with a convoy of students, faculty, and staff from the university, and they have to walk 1,000 miles to safety. Along the way, she makes friends with some of the individuals and perhaps even falls in love. But there is a rumor about these old 500-year-old collection of myths and folklore known as the Library of Legends. And so that bit of folklore kind of starts to come to life, and they encounter more strange and mysterious things along this journey where they're fleeing and trying to protect the library. It does sound like towards the end that there might be some like magical realism elements to it. I'm not 100% sure, so we'll see together. But this is going to be my first pick for the historical fiction. So for my second pick, I scanned these shelves back here and found my next historical pick, Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. I picked this book up back in like January, I want to say, which is when I was last really allowed to buy books. And I did it because one of my favorite booktubers, Emma from Drinking by My Shelf, really loves Donoghue's writing and particularly really spoke highly about frog music. So this has been on my radar because of her and her reading habits and tastes. But this is another historical. The time period is 1876 in San Francisco, where there's a lot going on in that time period in San Francisco. Heat wave, smallpox, like kind of Old West-ish at that point too. Very much part of that chaotic and often romanticized era of American history. But in particular, there's a young trans woman who is murdered, and the main character tries to bring the murderer to justice to find out who did it. So it sounds like it's dealing with a lot of like personal identity politics. There's a mystery element, but it is definitely a historical setting. But I'm really excited to read this. Really excited to read this and give this a go. Okay. One blue. Okay, so the next pick that we drew was one blue, and that is nonfiction. We've been reading a lot of nonfiction courtesy of Litland, and I kind of like it. But I think because I know that May was such a tricky reading month, I'm gonna see if I can find like a smaller volume, because the two books we've pulled so far are like normal, medium book size. So let's see if I can find a smaller nonfiction just to help me out a little bit. Right. So I am going to grab Letters to a Young Poet by Raina Maria Roca. And this book is in my These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 Months, which I will link in the cards. So can knock that off, hopefully. But look how tiny it is. This is quite literally what it says in the title. It is Letters to a Young Poet. Raina Maria Roca is a famous poet himself and corresponds with an individual who has written to him. These letters are said to be pretty inspiring, and you can hear the full story of why I bought this book in the first place in that original video about These Books Will Self-Destruct. But I have been meaning to read this forever. This is really only in that video because I need to get off my butt and read it. So this month we're making it happen. Pull 3. Oh, okay, another one. One orange. And we've just gone so far with that one little thing. So we took a great leap in Litland and moved one square to one orange, which is fantasy or sci-fi. I'm actually really happy to see this because this didn't show up last month at all. Blah. I can take another book from my priority shelf and do Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So this is the third book in the Illuminae Files trilogy. It is on another video that I've made on this channel, my 5-star prediction video. So I would love to get to those books sooner rather than later as well. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I do genuinely hope it's a 5-star read for me. I have adored the other two books in this series, although to be fair, only the first book, Illuminae, was a 5-star. The second book, Jimina, was 4 stars. So the Illuminae Files are a mixed media text. You can see all the different colors, but really, it's a story told through things like case files, emails, which is a really big trope that I love. And it's all in service to a court case. The whole trilogy follows a court case where basically some anonymous individuals are bringing a huge corporation to the intergalactic court because the corporation has been doing some awful things that have led to the adventures of each of the characters in this book. And each of the 3 books in the trilogy follow 2 different couples because each of them are people who have a bit of romance. So there's a little bit of romance throughout all of these books as well. I do not know much about this book, except that this is like the culmination, and we kind of go right back where we started. So the planet that the first couple leaves in book one, we are now back on that planet in Obsidio with two different characters wrapping up this story and wrapping up the court case against that corporation. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this ends, and I hope it is very good. But it also has the benefit of taking another one off of that 5-star prediction video. I'm rocking and rolling through my priority shelf this month. Oh, okay. This is for graphic novel. So first I will move Wilbur here. That is so exciting, but I am also so afraid that another card is going to push us back somewhere. But this also means I have to choose a challenge square. Oh, friend pick. I almost had a panic attack. I mean, that's a little hyperbolic, but like only just. When I pulled another little challenge square card, but then I realized that it took us to graphic novel, and I was just like, oh my god, we're so much closer. We went from the low last month of being sent back to miscellaneous, and now we get to go to graphic novel, and I'm so freaking excited because that puts us so close to a book haul. So close. Not only because I really want to buy books, like I am struggling every month not to buy books because it turns out I had a bad habit of doing that way too frequently. But also because I'm gonna host a giveaway when I get to a book haul, so like this is very exciting for both me and you. And I've just launched the card. Not important. It's a graphic novel, and just to clarify the way that the little challenge squares work, I will do my best to try to have options that match the genre, but that is not necessarily always going to work out depending on the prompt. And it didn't totally work out for this month's prompt either, which was friend pick. And so what I ended up doing is my dear friend IRL as well as online, who I've spoken about in at least a couple of my videos before, Clara from Clara Books It, tagged me this past week in a photo challenge on Instagram that hopefully by the time this video goes up you will also have seen the photo post. But she tagged me in a post to basically make a purple stack of books in honor of May being Lupus Awareness Month. So when I was building my stack, I was also filming the boards for Litland today, and so I sent her a picture of my purple stack before I post it, and she got to choose what from the purple stack she'd like me to read. So that's how I chose to do the friend pick. That's a very long-winded description. I'm sorry. But she was torn between two books, which I will show you both and tell you what she ultimately decided. She first suggested Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. It's a book she recently read. We have both read Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson as well. And both of us did not overly like Enchantment of Ravens. I thought it was fine. It just didn't wow me. It didn't change my life or anything. It was just like a fine fae book. I love fae as a general rule, but this one is another standalone, another different take where there are magical books. And I do love books and like magical books in particular. And the other thing she was interested in is Lovestruck by Kate Watson. It seems like it's a really cute YA romance where a 16-year-old Cupid in training named Callie accidentally sticks herself and a young man who is bass playing guitar, or bass guitar playing indie rocker. It just sounds really cute and wholesome, so I was glad that this also came up on her radar. But ultimately what she ended up picking was Margaret Rogerson's Sorcery of Thorns. So this will be my friend pick for graphic novel, even though it is clearly not graphic novel. I've explained why that is the case. So Elizabeth is our main character here, and she is kind of a magician, or she's grown up among the tools of sorcery, it says, and there are a lot of magical books that really need to be protected and guarded, and not just for their health as books, but for like people's health, so that the books don't run awry. And then there is basically a situation where one of these big bad books gets released into the world and Elizabeth takes the blame. So she has to go and deal with her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel. And yeah, it seems like there's going to be some adventure. It seems like there's very likely going to be an enemies to lovers romance here. So we will see how this goes. And of course, you know me, I love a shiny cover, so I'm not mad at that. But I think what I'm also going to do is put Love Struck on the priority shelf back here. Since it was an option that my friend chose for me and I didn't get to it, I think it should go onto the priority shelf. Or at least somewhere back on these shelves so that I can get to it eventually. Okay, that's four. Let's not get our hopes up too high. Final pick for June Litland. Oh, okay, that's manageable. One purple. Sorry, I just kicked the stand. Okay. Oh, here we go. One purple. All right, and then our final choice for this June Litland. We didn't quite make it to book haul, team, but we got pretty freaking close. So this is a one purple, and purple stands for miscellaneous. So this is basically kind of my, I don't want to say get out of jail free card, but I have a lot of books on my shelves that don't fall into the major categories, including things like poetry, classics, literary fiction, and so this, and graphic novels. This allows me to kind of play with that a little bit. And I think what I'm going to do for purple miscellaneous is, since I don't have literary fiction, I am going to read a literary fiction book because I just got My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell from my library via Libby, so I have the ebook for that, and I really need to return that in a timely manner. I don't want to fight the wait list for that again because I've been on that wait list for like a month and a half. And it's also, you know, pretty popular on booktube communities right now. It's being really interesting to see how people feel about this book and like how it's written, because I'm seeing a lot of kind of divisive stances and reviews, so I just kind of want to be part of the conversation. So I think that's what I'm going to do for my miscellaneous pick for June. I have these 5 physical books and then My Dark Vanessa as an ebook for June, but this is my June TBR more or less. I will probably read a couple more things, but I'm really excited to get to these. I am even more excited that we are so close to a book haul, so as long as we don't get sent back somewhere in July, we may be able to buy books. But let's not get ahead of ourselves because we could get sent back. I really don't know how this is going to go. Or, you know, we could just not make it all the way there and get really close and get our hearts broken. So let's not plan ahead too much, Caitlin. Anyway, thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you have a fantastic reading day. Like and subscribe if you want to know more about me or this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!